Hello everyone! In today's video I'm gonna show you the origins of Bitcoin and how I came up with it. Alright, so despite me attempting to get some vindication and getting credit for my invention, people just aren't gonna be smart about it. They're just gonna believe what is fed to them through the media. So I'm just gonna do this video in hopes that some people get it into their thick skulls how crooked human nature is, and that will be the theme of Bitcoin. Okay, so for those who have any ounce of an investigative skill, you can find the real story on my blog or Twitter or Tumblr. But Bitcoin's origin started in Charlotte, North Carolina, back when I was attending high school at Harding University High School. And it was just a class assignment, or maybe not just a class assignment, maybe there was an ulterior motive by the administrators, but the goal was to come up with a decentralized system of currency. So, and every student had to turn in a paper with pseudonym. So that's what I turned in under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto. And history doesn't turn out as planned, because after I turned it in, all of a sudden, I was getting special treatment from the chancellor at Harding, and I was escorted all over campus, being introduced to these old white dudes in suits, who turned out to be the early investors in Bitcoin. So yeah, pretty much history doesn't turn out the way it turns out, and they ended up using my invention, to solidify their own status quo and kicking me out of the loop. So that's that. Anyway, I wanted to do a video about how Bitcoin works. And yeah, that's the irony too. I'm surprised they implemented the protocol pretty damn close to my original vision. So, alright, here goes. This is how originally what Bitcoin was supposed to be like was a virtual currency system for a multiple player online RPG. So because online games have been known to be hacked, and users use bots to mine virtual currencies, I was trying to come up with a way to keep users honest. So I thought, what other way can you do that without somebody programming a bot and attacking game server and just cashing out that virtual currency for real currency, and no one would be all the wiser for it. So the only way to do that is to hold them accountable via the network being held accountable. So everybody else has to police everybody else. So in other words, the whole group has to be held accountable for the entire ecosystem. Yeah, I'm not that articulate about it, but let me see if I can try to illustrate that for you. Okay, so this is probably why those early adopters of Bitcoin probably got their minds blown, but I mean, I didn't know how to articulate it best, but let me try here, okay? So this is what they're talking about, that Byzantine general's problem is, in other words, how do you deal with a conspiracy? And by definition, a conspiracy involves at least 3 people, and 2 of them are conspiring against the third person. So let's say here's party A and party B and party C, okay? A, B, C, and they're in a network like so, okay? This is a network. So this is a Bitcoin and blockchain explained, okay? Okay, so here's A, B, and C inside of a network, which is not exactly how the blockchain works, but I'll convolute that idea a bit and try to explain it to you. Okay, so this is just a normal network, A, B, and C, right? So A and B are going to conspire against C. So A and B trust each other, but they don't trust C. However, in a network that is open to everyone, so C would be welcome. It doesn't matter if they're trusted or not. And let's say the pool for this network, let's say this is like a Star Wars multiple online RPG, and I have like 10 currency, right? 10 credits or whatever available, and I'm as the currency creator, I'm going to assign, let's say, 5 here, 3 here, 2 here. So okay, so now we're getting to that concept of a public ledger. Public ledger helps because you got to force people to be honest with what they have. So if you don't show how it to the public, then let's say A knows how to write a bot and cheats the system or the server, and then they can coin themselves however many credits they want. And this is why having a limit to how many credits you have in the system helps, because you just do a simple math of convoluting, right? 5 plus 3 plus 2 is 10. This guy cheats the system. He gives himself 6. Well, 6 plus 3 plus 2 is not 10. So that's kind of what the blockchain is supposed to be like. You know, and I'm just using simpler numbers, but in the real world, if you have dollars or whatever in there, that's how you would do it. So that's where all that hashing and public and private keys, all that extra convoluted and contrived implementations represents. So I'm just trying to break it down really simply and explain why I designed it the way I designed it. So yeah, that's the whole point. So in this case, let's say I started with 10 credits, and A would have to be, well, yeah, A, and how you first distribute it would be like this, okay? Assume A was me. I'm Satoshi Nakamoto. So I created the Genesis block, and then I gave myself 5 credits, and this is an arbitrary number. It could be anything. So if I gave myself 5, then how do I distribute the rest of the credits to people and make them want to join the network. Otherwise, this entire thing is useless. It's just me making up money, fake money, for a game, a multiple online game that I wanted to design and develop, which I never got to. So the idea is you gotta use a real world event, a real world thing to base your implementation on. So what you gotta do is in the real world, people earn money by going to work. So you gotta come up with a way for people to work for this virtual currencies, and that's via a work of proof or virtual work, and that's by mining. And mining, I mean, how else are you going to work through a digital interface? And the only way is through some kind of convolution of CPU processes. And just I'm not a hardcore programmer, but I found out that dividing numbers is the hardest process for a CPU to do. So you simply just to use that and use bigger numbers, just like how encryption works. So you just take a giant prime number and you divide it by 2, and divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So that's how it works. So let's say A starts out with a prime number like 5, and I divide that by 2, right? So I divide that by 2, and that gives me a remainder of 1. Well, no, these prime numbers are too small. I think eventually I'll reach 0, but you take the number of credits and you start dividing it by 2 until it reaches 0. That's how you distribute it throughout the network. And because of the time it takes to divide such a giant prime, it doesn't have to be a prime number because there's only 21 million bitcoins, but you divide the number of credits by 2 until it reaches 0. By then all the coins will have been mined, and once they're mined, then they can stay where they are distributed amongst the users in the network, or you can circulate them throughout the network. But you can never change the number of coins available in the network, because that's by design. That's to keep people honest, so let's see. It's hard to explain because it's been a long time. It's more than 15 years. I came up with this idea when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. I don't remember. So yeah, and it does get influenced by Super Nintendo. I mean, not Super. What was it? Nintendo 64. Yeah, Mario 64. So the visuals is there. It's just colored coins. Mario, those gold coins in Mario, all the Super Mario games. So, and also the NIM, obviously, right? Satoshi Nakamoto is kind of like Shigeru Miyamoto. But I picked the name out of a box in the computer lab because the paper was a last-minute project. So yeah, so that's how the blockchain works. I mean, you don't have to know the exact details, the technical details, how it works, but that's kind of how it goes. So in order to hold everyone accountable and accept that the amount of bitcoins they have is the amount they have, they can't cheat the system, then you have every other user on the network agree that that's the amount that each person has. So if A has 5, then he sends his value of 5 to B. B agrees that A has 5, so then B sends this amount 5 hashed with his amount B 3. So see, it's not exactly 5 plus 3, but the concept is this object plus this object then has to be checked by C. So by C agreeing that object A and object B's totals are what they are, then it validates B. See, you get it? It's kind of convoluted, but you're holding the network. Each user in the network is validating each person's supply, their cache, and there's no way of cheating that, hopefully, but you know, it's obviously not perfect, and human nature is not exactly honest. So, but that's the way I design it. You know, it's to make sure that 5 plus 3 plus 2 will always equal 10. You know, it's so that nobody cheats the way it works. So, alright, so by the time C gets there, C has validated that A only has 5 and B only has 3. So then once that happens, then C sends his thing to A, and A validates that. A himself has 5, B has 3, and C has 2. And this is just abstract numbers. It's not actually adding. You know, that's what all that hashing and technical stuff is all about. But you know, that's the idea behind it. It's to keep everyone honest in the ecosystem. See? So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So the thing with this is this was never meant to be monetized. You know, so when those assholes exploited it, they monetize it because they're wealthy fucks and they want to keep up the status quo. But yeah, this was only meant to be exercise to see if it would work, and you could use it in a video game, which I never got to develop because, you know, life gets in the way, and I didn't have the technical expertise to do it myself. But you know, they took it and ran it 1,000 miles for their own gain. But yeah, that's really much it. That's how I envision it. So it's not as complex as people make it out to be. It's kind of like this social experiment kind of thing. Like if you were to come up with a secure system, how would you do it? But it's not like it was something I actively sought. It's just a assignment for a class because they told us to do it. They told us to come up with a system, and I just, in 2 weeks, you know, I just came up with it really quick, turned it in, and for some reason all their minds were blown. So yeah, so that's the origin of Bitcoin and blockchain protocol as I envisioned it. I hope I explained it well enough, simple enough, and yeah, if you don't get it, it doesn't matter, because the only people who seem to benefit from it are the wealthy people trying to create iron grip on their status quo. So best way to go about it is not to get resentful or bitter. Just go about living your life, and pursuit of happiness is all relative anyway. Alright, yeah, cool. Thanks for watching this movie. Hope it helps. Gives you some insight to how Bitcoin works. It doesn't matter to me much if you use Bitcoin or not. I mean, for me right now, I don't even use it. I don't think it's that useful. You know, it's just a experiment for me. I just want to reclaim my reputation and my NIM. That's all it is. Alright, cool. Thanks for watching.